Are you going to watch the Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis fight?
I didn't want to, but I think now I will. And their back and forth has really, really paid off because someone like me who's definitely not interested and thought this whole thing was a joke, I'm probably going to watch it.
So I was never really into watching boxing, honestly, unless it was the Rocky movies or Creed movies, because you don't actually watch the whole match. There's music and there's like a montage, and it's epic. And real boxing is not like that. So I remember I saw this Oscar De La Hoya fight once a long time ago, and that was it. I didn't really watch many fights, but it can be exciting when you had legends like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather,
Well, if
and
you're a fan of the sport, you're going to like it. I
right,
like
but
watching it.
but I feel like boxing kind of, I don't know, I don't know if I should say fell off, but it's definitely not that relevant with millennials or definitely Gen Z. And I think what I like about Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis and Jake Paul and all those guys that are fighting, and or if they're from MMA, and then social media influencers, YouTubers, right? It seems like they're making the sport into a joke, but on the contrary, I think they're making it relevant and they're making it hot again for somebody that's Gen Z. So I think they're doing a great service to the boxing community. I do want to see Logan Paul lose this fight. They got my attention. I am going to watch. And the reason why I want to see Logan Paul lose this fight is because, in my opinion, he's become a really like a villain. And I just, quite frankly, dislike him for it. So, who are you rooting for?
Yeah, so about what you said earlier, going back real quick, I see what you're saying. They kind of made boxing more relevant so people who follow all these influencers could start to say, you know what, I kind of like the sport. Let me actually look to see who these boxers are. Um, like the one I know of right now that is, besides from Mayweather's Canelo, who's also like a big boxer and really, one of the best out there right now, who Jake Paul wants to fight, of course. But people hate it because one, you have all these influencers who are not necessarily trained, just talking smack, and they're bringing their huge audiences into the sport. So it does pay off with the sport in general.
It
Where
does.
the other guys don't really have names. Like you don't know, besides from Mayweather and maybe Canelo, you don't know anyone else.
So this is actually what is bad for boxing, and it's because it brings in fighters that are not real boxers. Like you see a bunch of MMA fighters, whatever. That's why it is bad for the sport, because there's actual good boxers out there that are very competitive and they are worth watching to fight. You know, but they don't see the light of day because they're not popular. This is becoming like a popularity contest. So that's where the sport is suffering. But, everything's about balance. And if they can somehow figure it out, okay, now they brought these guys in from YouTube and MMA and whatever, and they're making it hot and popular. If they can somehow bring in and merge and put in the real boxers, and that's the problem. People don't care about who is the competitive boxer out there. They just want to, they're just like, why wouldn't we be interested in watching like a Floyd Mayweather fight? You know, instead, I'm here talking about Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul because they're talking so much crap on social media, and that's key, right? Trash talk was always big in the sport. But when did you watch people trash talk throughout the decades? Just like in the media, like on television, they'd get together. But now with TikTok and social media,
Well, it's
they're
also
just trash
reaching
talking all the time.
it's also reaching like crazier levels, and guys like Logan and Jake Paul are super popular. So that's why like we hear about it and this trash talk is getting really personal. One sport that has really grown and become more popular, I think, than boxing is UFC, and uh, that I think definitely surpassed boxing. Boxing, I feel like, is more of a niche, has a niche following, and I'm sure it's still really big in certain areas. But the problem is that these guys don't want to fight real boxers. Like the only real boxer that Jake Paul fought was Tommy Fury, and he lost. And now Tommy Fury is fighting KSI, which is another YouTuber who's partnered with Logan Paul on
And again,
the drink. And KSI is definitely gonna get crushed. He's not. When's the last time he fought? And I don't know why Logan Paul is even boxing in the first place.
and again, this is the problem because Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul, and in my opinion, I think Jake Paul has earned the right to call himself a boxer. It feels like he's genuine, that he really wants to be taken seriously. And instead, he's fighting KSI, and he's doing it because of money, because it's going to get the most viewership.
No,
He's
Jake Paul is not fighting him.
no, I'm talking about Tommy Fury.
Oh, okay.
So Tommy Fury doesn't care at this. Tommy Fury is kind of like becoming like a Jake Paul, even though he's a real boxer. He's becoming kind of like a Jake Paul, where now he's just famous, and he's fighting KSI. He's fighting KSI because it's going to bring in a lot of revenue. It's bringing in a lot of attention.
Yeah, of course.
So,
You can't blame him for that.
but even if he had the desire and the interest of fighting a real boxer,
Which I'm sure he will do.
but he's not going to do it because what's in it for him?
Who?
Tommy Fury.
Well, he is trying to be a real boxer, so it's different.
Doesn't matter. If he's getting opportunities to fight KSI and make a lot of money, why wouldn't he do that?
Yeah, but I think after this, because KSI is also a huge YouTuber, but like after this, he's not gonna fight. Like he's not gonna that popularity and attention is not gonna carry over.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because you don't really hear about him right now, Tommy Fury. Like you don't really. Even this fight, I'm not even interested in watching that fight because number one, I know Tommy Fury is gonna crush him, and it just to me, it's not interesting at all. But with Jake Paul though, it's number one, I do respect like his commitment, and I know he's mostly doing it for entertainment and money, which I can't blame him. But he's fighting still mostly UFC guys who can't fight, but he's putting up a show, and he wants to fight Canelo. Is Canelo gonna actually fight him and give him that opportunity? Yeah, they'll both make a ton of money, but will Canelo stoop down to that level, so to speak?
Well, in a way, didn't Floyd Mayweather by fighting Logan Paul? Floyd Mayweather should have fought Jake Paul. Paul,
yeah.
You see, Logan Paul is the person that I'll say is not a real boxer. Yeah, he's boxed, but he's not a real boxer. Logan Paul has his hands in everything.
Right.
He has his hands in his podcast. He's in WWE. He has his energy drink. My problem with one of my problems though with Logan Paul, and this is a big one for me, is that he's not supportive of his brother. Okay, there's been signs that he's not supportive. Like when Jake Paul won a fight, there was footage of Logan Paul just not looking that enthused. Then he brought his energy drink brand with him, I believe, or he brought some kind of he brought something to promote his own brand, taking away
his drink.
It was the energy drink, and he was taking, instead of celebrating Jake's victory, he's trying to promote himself.
And he wasn't supposed, like by contract wise, he wasn't supposed to do that. To Jake's fight, and on top of that, I think they had like a little dispute that that Jake Paul wanted to fight Floyd, and what doesn't seem authentic is that he could technically do whatever he wants because he's Logan Paul, he's got that type of reach, but that boxing thing just doesn't seem fake. And then when he's doing promos right now, he's showing how like he almost knocked out Floyd. Like everyone knows that's just like BS. Like everyone knows that Floyd held him up to keep the fight going. And if he wanted to, Floyd would have knocked him out. That's how good he is, and Floyd is like half his size. And that brings us back to what you were saying, that you dislike Logan Paul. I think this fight that's coming up with Dylan Dennis really put Logan Paul into a negative spotlight, just because he just now looks so cringe, and the fact that he had that whole crypto zoo scam that he didn't pay back after he promised to pay back all those people he scammed. And the fact that he's kind of going into Jake Paul's territory with his boxing thing, and that he basically had a falling out with his other podcast member, and like he was putting him down because of his religious beliefs, even though I think that guy, I think his name is George, he brought like a good mix into the podcast. So yeah, man, Logan Paul's probably gonna win this fight, I think, but it's still, I think he's on the downfall. He really is. This is the downfall.
Well, as far as winning the fight, he has something to lose. Dylan Dennis doesn't. I think Dylan Dennis, it doesn't matter, because Logan Paul is arguably more famous than he is. So if Dylan Dennis loses, it's like whatever. He's still getting paid. But if Logan loses, now his reputation took a hit. I think he's going to, unfortunately, win. I don't want him to. As speaking of a negative image, you're so right. This Dylan Dennis trash talk brought out more negativity to Logan, because one of the things they did during the trash talk, I understand Dylan Dennis is dissing his fiance and saying that she slept around or whatever, but and I get that, but what Logan did seemed like it's worse. Because I think he was trolling Dylan Dennis for Dylan Dennis's dad dying. And that's like...
Yeah, it's like he's just digging a bigger hole for himself.
Yeah, I get the trash talking, but damn. Do you really, is that a line you want to cross? And then real quick, back to Jake Paul. He told Jake, I'm sorry, but I don't think you're going to be a world champion. I just don't think you have it in you. And it doesn't matter if you actually believe that or not, but you have to support your brother and say, you know what? If you work hard at it, then you can take the world. You can be that next champion. You could be the world champion. I believe in you. I support you. Instead, he was on the Andrew Schultz podcast, and he's like, yeah, I'm better than Jake Paul in boxing. So I think they should box each other. I think Jake Paul versus Logan Paul, that's going to be a fight to watch. I'm going to be rooting for Jake Paul, of course. Go ahead.
I think Jake Paul definitely win that fight. And yeah, it could be leading up to that, and that's going to be a huge money grab for them. So they're probably going to do it. But
you know why I think Logan would win, in my opinion?
Why?
Because watching them, it feels like Jake has a big heart, especially when it comes to his brother. He felt so heartbroken because he's genuinely, he loves his brother, I feel like. And when Logan fought Floyd Mayweather, you should have seen what a cheerleader Jake was for him. So I think in the ring, even though physically Jake Paul is more talented, whatever, he could beat Logan, I think Logan would win, because it seems like Logan's more savage, and he doesn't care, family, whatever. He'll just go all the way. And Jake might not be able to, because that's his brother.
So I think Jake Paul's more talented.
No, it's not about talent. He's going to hold back.
I don't know. I don't think so. Why? Just the fight. It's not like they're fighting to the death.
I don't know.
And it's not like Logan Paul. It's not like this is Logan Paul's career where he's trying to be a boxer. He's just doing random stuff.
Logan Paul does not have a good person resume. The Japan scandal a long time ago, people might have forgave him. I don't think they've forgotten, or they might have forgotten, but I don't think they forgave him either way. The whole crypto zoo thing you said?
Yeah.
Forget about not paying the people back for a second. Why be involved in that in the first place?
Well, he wanted to capitalize on the hottest trends. And it's like an easy...
Well, that was irresponsible. That was irresponsible. Fine. You want to make a right, pay up. And he promised he'd pay up, but he didn't pay up. How much time does he need? When did he promise? Back
Well,
when?
it's been at least like 6, 7 months now.
I guess let's give him another 6 months and see if he'll do it.
Well, I don't know. The guy who investigates the stuff, his name is CoffeeZilla on YouTube, and he tried to reach out. He said like already this was couple months ago, I think in the summer, and his lawyer emailed him back saying, "Yeah, we're working on it, but they didn't provide any like legitimate timeline. It's probably not going to happen at this point." I think he just wants it swept under the rug and eventually tire people out.
People, yeah, just like, oh, everybody forgot, whatever. That's a big one. That's a big one for why I don't like Logan Paul right now. That the lack of support for his brother, because to me, family is everything. I feel, if you can't be there for your family, then who can you be there for? Who can you trust? But I think he's so pretentious. Like the way he proposed to his fiance. He was crying like a little kid. I'm sorry. You're the girl of my dreams. It's so pretentious.
Yeah, that's
Here,
pretty
check it
lame.
out.
Nina, I love you so much. I'm sorry.
You're being so mean.
I'm sorry. Baby, I love you so much.
Put your phone away.
I can't.
Why?
I can't. I'll tell you why in a second. You are the love of my life. You're the girl of my dreams. I never thought I'd find you. And now that I have, I never want to let you go. I'm sorry I'm being such a pussy.
Do you think he was genuinely like, I can't talk right now. I'm so you're the girl of my dreams, or do you think he just did that for show? Because even his fiance was like, the demeanor she had. She's like, dude, what are you doing? Just chill out. This is like, what's wrong with
That's
you?
true. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but it did sound like he was definitely trying to, do it for the cameras.
And not a good look, Logan.
The thing is, when every time like Jake Paul had an opponent to box, no matter who it was, he was the one that would make the most noise and lead the trash talk and like always one up them on the trash talk, and they would respond, but it wasn't that anything crazy. Now this is the first time where it's the other way around, where Dylan Dennis is beating him in the trash talk and making Logan Paul look bad. And then, like you said, he like tried to make fun of his dead father, which made him look even worse. And that's like how the tables have turned on him, and it's just so funny how that happened.
All I can say, let's go, Dylan Dennis. All right. Until next time. Hold on, I want to fix something real quick because you had to say it. So can you sit up for a second? Sit up, stop.